That's if I don't think we should just take a long this morning, because look at oil. Take a look at oil. Let me just turn this stream on. So looking at oil, I will put YM on the right, like we do every morning. So right now I'll put a quick YM reverse continue. $35 target, 35 stop on the YM on a reverse continue. Trading it in number 34, and I'm labeling it YM reverse continue. So 34 is the account we've so far been making money today. All right. So we have a YM reverse continue. And in a little bit, I'll put a YM magnet on. Gold looked like a better play this morning than the YM, for what it's worth. Looking at gold, it just looks like it has a more interesting setup this morning. Because we're right in the middle, not in the middle, but there's a possibility for a high-end magnet, long magnet. But I guess for now, I'll stick with the YM. We do it every morning. We'll stay with what we've been doing. So right now we have a reverse continue. United Health is what everybody's saying is driving down the YM this morning. Now oil, looking at oil on a longer, little bit longer frame chart. Right? Oil just went crazy 4 minutes ago. Oil had a big pop. I'm not seeing a particular piece of news that would have driven oil up in the last 4 minutes. All right. Or in the last 2 hours, I mean. Sorry. That's 2 hours. That's 15-minute chart, right? So it's about a 2 hour chart. Not even, no, that's an hour. That's an hour. So 8 o'clock. Oil, let me go back in time on the news and see if I see anything at 8 o'clock. I really don't.
Japan's Finance Minister Katayama said that they had G7 finance ministers meeting online.
Just maybe Middle East tensions is the only thing I'm seeing. Middle East tensions. So, oil, the question is, do you want to take a short on oil today? Do you want to take a short on oil?
Katayama says we discussed critical minerals and
I don't
support
think
for
so.
Ukraine
I
yesterday.
don't. I don't think I would allow my oil trade to go short this morning. But we all know it's difficult to go long when you're making high after high after high, and that's what we have. We've made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 new highs in the past hour. Not even half hour. Oil's made 12 new highs in the past half hour. So if the trade were working, I would just take the trade. Just take it the way it's working. First thing I'm going to put on the chart is a oil reverse continue. All right. One contract, 20 tick target, 20 tick stop. Oil reverse continuation.
Katayama says that I told G7 ministers it's important to come up with measures to boost supply chains as soon as possible.
And I'll label it CL reverse continue. And I'll trade it in the account that I'm struggling on this morning. Okay, 36. So we have a reverse continuation. We have our range that hasn't been working. It hasn't been working.
Trump says big armada going to Iran. Hope we won't have to use it. It's not clear where he's speaking at the moment, but just Trump says big armada going to Iran. Hope we won't have to use it. This is Trump speaking at Sid and Friends radio show. Katayama says that today's agenda was global imbalance and critical minerals.
I mean, is Trump's plan now to invade Iran or to bomb Iran? I just don't know what's going on anymore. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Katayama says we will continue to closely coordinate with the US authorities as needed, based on a joint Japan-US statement issued in September last year. And Katayama reflecting on FX moves.
All right, we have 15 minutes, and I'm just debating how to take this trade. I'm going to put a magnet on the oil chart. That's the first thing I'm putting on. And I'm just putting signals on. Signals. One position with a 30 tick stop. One position with a 30 tick stop. I don't think this is a safe trade anymore. We've gotten stopped on it over and over now for the past 3 weeks. But I want to watch the signals.
And for those who like
All
to
right.
listen to Trump speak on the Sid and Friends radio show, we popped that on the feed.
Oil
Katayama
magnet.
says that we're going to take appropriate steps on FX coordinating with the US.
So we've got a reverse continue and we've got a magnet.
That will take action in line with US-Japan FX agreement.
Now it gave a signal to take a short. The short is nullified now by the change in color on the momentum bar. Now, we never tested the oil range on micro oil. Micro oil, honestly, doesn't always move exactly the way regular oil moved. I'm just watching, folks. The YM is going down. I think the markets are extremely worried about another war from the president of war who never stops. This guy never stops with war. Okay. I mean, that's what you see happening. Your eyes don't lie. My feeling is if we take the range, we have to be prepared to go in a different direction. So I'm going to trade one contract on this range. Well, you're going to analyze the signal. Let me set the range up and I'll tell you how I do it, what I look at. I'm going to put our range trade on. I accept the fact it's not working. All right. So why am I putting it on? It's a good question. 900. One thing that I've been feeling is our range is too long. One of the reasons it hasn't been working. What seems like it's been working better is entering right at the open. Right at the open. I'm going to just change it up this morning. We got nothing to lose, folks. I'm trading one contract. I'm entering at the open. All right. I'm going to enter at the open.
And at the top of the hour, we get the US K-Shiller 20 year-on-year forecast, one spot 2%, prior one spot 3%.
859.59. I'm going to
US
start our range
house price index
at 859.30.
0.4%.
And one tick above, one tick below. Show the range graphics on chart. So I'm starting the range at 859.30 and I'm ending it at 859.59.
2025 totaled lower than expected $3.1 billion.
Just trading one position, okay? One position with a target of 20 and a stop of 20. One position with a start of 20, target of 20, stop of 20, and I'm going to trade it in this same account that I've been messing up this morning. Not my funded account, no more funded.
Low of 153 after Katayama comments.
Oil open range. We know this trade's not open, it's not working, so doing some experimenting. Hang on. And how do I interpret the signals? So signals, if you make a new high and you get a momentum change, which is a change in color, and then there's other things in the software, but essentially you get a momentum change color, then it will generate a reversal signal. Now, we know that one of the biggest problems at new highs and at new lows is you don't always know when those new highs and lows are done. Now, on a day like today, when you have new high, you might have gotten stopped out on your first trade. If you took this trade, you would have gotten stopped out. I probably would not take it because we're too close to the open. So I probably wouldn't have been interested yet in taking a signal. And then if you waited, you'd see you're getting lots of false signals because it keeps making new highs. We do have a filter, and I have to talk to the programmer about the filter. You don't get long signals at highs. It's a reversal trade. That's why. You're going to get your longs at the lows. We're not taking longs at the highs. That's a chase. We're not chasing. We want a valid short. And sometimes you're going to lose. Sometimes it's not going to work. But you have to use some logical sense before you take a short. You don't want to take a short 3 or 4 minutes after oil just went wild to the upside. You want to wait in that situation because you don't know what's going on, right? A valid signal can be created after a high is made and momentum changes. But that's not an automatic, nothing is an automatic, it's a discretionary entry. It's not an
What are you
automatic
expecting
entry.
Redbook year on year?
What we do know is eventually you're going to get a great reversal, but sometimes you're going to get killed. I mean, it just is the way it is. Sometimes you're not going to get it. Bear with me here. I would not be taking any of these signals just because it's the wrong time of day. I don't take signals 10 minutes before an open in general. All right, just in general, unless the signals are in the direction of the trend. And on this, they're not going to be. This morning, they're not going to be. Let me take a quick picture. Now, we do have other things in the software that can reduce signals.
Redbook year on year 7.1%, 7.1%. 5 minutes ago, until we get the US case yield at 20 year on year. Forecast 1.2%, prior 1.3%. House price index month on month, forecast 0.3%, price 0.4%. And house price index year on year, prior 1.7%.
So first things first, I'm just waiting for our open. All right, I'm waiting for our open. The YM keeps making new lows. I'm not chasing it at the moment. We do have consumer confidence that we'll get ready for at 9:30. Now, in the magnet, in the signals, and it's one reason why things have been delayed, because I'm struggling getting everything working the way I want it to work. You can delay signals by requiring more trending bars in a row. That delays signals. And I still have to talk to the programmer. So let me take a picture. So if I have 3 trending bars required, I should not be getting any of these signals except a signal here. Right here, there should be a signal. So that's why
Trump says Greenland is
we've
coming
been
online.
delayed. That's why we've been delayed. All right, I'm waiting for our setup. Oswald, I see your message. Thank you for that. Now I'm going to go back. I'm going to put my magnet.
One minute ago, natural lead with the US Case-Shiller 20 year on year.
Okay, our
Effective Fed funds rate
range trade
unchanged at 3.64%.
is going to trigger, all right? It's going to trigger at 9. It's going to trigger early. It's going to start creating the range now. Okay, now we're creating our range. And we're creating the range until the open.
10 seconds.
Order submitted.
1.39%, 1.39%. That's higher than forecast.
Now, it's not a very powerful market open on oil.
6%,
And it's one of the reasons,
Order submitted.
it is one of the reasons that we created a longer range with oil because of what we just saw happen right now. It didn't work in the right direction. And it filled to the long side when you have short signals. So I'm closing.
Order filled.
And I'm going to put my reverse continue on and take a short.
Order submitted.
If it breaks the high
and Trump radio interview.
or the signal changes, then I'm not going to want to stay in the trade. Okay?
ECB says forex reserves rose.
But I'm not dying to take a short in this particular market either. So I'm not really thinking very strongly that this is going to be a great trade. I could be wrong, right? Now the magnet did give a short signal, but it was before the open. It was before the open. If it keeps making new highs, then it's not going to work. It's not going to work. And no matter what, we have to go back to the drawing board on this trade. Our setup is not working. Our setup just isn't working. It worked for about 2 months. It did work for 2 months. The problem today is it's difficult to be short. It's difficult to be long. Long, it's hard to be difficult. It's made 10, 12, 13 new highs. Calvin, I don't know why Case-Shiller does nothing to the markets. It doesn't move the markets at all. You'd think it would be an important trade, important data, and it just doesn't. So the biggest problem with this particular trade is momentum to the downside is going to struggle because oil's bullish. So my goal would be to get out at R1. If we hit R1, I would be happy to get out of this trade.
Order filled.
And I'm out of the trade with a profitable trade. But the original fill probably should not have allowed it long because we did have so much momentum to the downside. So that's maybe the only, but folks, we don't have a great setup. I mean, that's the reality. For the oil open, we don't have a great setup. That was momentum that seemed to work. But notice eventually every high, eventually you're going to get a good signal. You don't get signals on up candles, so there should not have been any signals here. The signal is in the right place if momentum bar is 1. Now, I exited the range early this morning. How was that a winner? It was a long. Oh no, I didn't wait till 9:40. So this morning it might have worked. It might have worked. What Chantal's saying is the original trade would have filled short this morning. So it would have worked. But it's worked so intermittently, I wanted to try something new. Wanted to try something new. So I think we're going to drop this oil open for a bit. It's not working. But I don't have a setup. We'll just go on to something else for the time being. All right. I'm not going to take another oil trade. So I'm going to take my oil out. All right. Putting a YM magnet on because I want to show you signals. The YM usually generates pretty good signals. And I'll just trade one contract this morning. High of day, low of day. Going to use a 40 stop, a little bit smaller stop this morning. 40 on the stop. All right. High of day, low of day at the moment. And we'll keep working on this one account. YM magnet is the label. And we're going to work on this account still. Was it 36 or 34? We'll know in a second. Let's see. 34, I think, is the right one. $34. Let me put it on the right. Oil open range we don't need. That's gone. YM reversal on 34. The magnet needs to be on 34. I just want to put them on the same account. That's all I'm doing. YM is making new lows, so it's not a great magnet at the moment.
US natural gas output fell to 2-year lows on Sunday and Monday as
The PP is an interesting magnet.
Texas and North Dakota.
PP is an interesting magnet. Now we've made a bunch of low of days. So when you get your momentum change, it's going to generate a signal. Now, remember what I was saying. If I change the settings, and this is where myself and the programmer are having a problem. Trending bars. I don't want a signal for 3 bars, not 1. It's very simple. I don't know why he can't get this right. Notice it is working properly now. But it did not work properly on oil. So I'll talk to him about it. That's a better signal. I wanted 3 trending bars. There's a lot of trending bars. You're still sitting right at the low. on the YM. You've got a very negative morning. You're sitting at the low. You're not at the open yet. I would not be taking signals yet. Me personally, I'm not taking them yet. I'm not sure I feel comfortable with a reversal yet. I might want to wait for the open, okay? I might want to wait for the open. Yeah, I lost 80 or 100 on the first one, Chantal. So I made about 40 bucks on oil this morning on that second trade. So the YM, I'm just watching. You don't have to take a signal. It's not automatic. It's discretionary. And then we need our MNQ for the open, for the market open. Going to put my reverse continue on the MNQ. Reverse continue, put a couple of contracts. Look, folks, here's the thing. We got up early for really good earnings. We had a really good United Health trade. That's the only trade you need to take today. Honestly, that was the only trade you needed to take. If all the other trades are troubled. Now look, Boeing was a shot. Boeing, I said, don't take in cash. And it was a really good move, but it hadn't been moving great previously over the past 3 quarters. So, I said be careful on Boeing. On ones that we say be careful, it's up to you if you want to risk one contract. Take less risk or trade micros, right? But if you have a great trade in the morning, you don't have to take the crappy ones or the difficult ones, the ones that have been struggling with performance. And certainly our oil trade's been struggling with performance. Now I will take the MNQ market open. I got stopped yesterday on the MNQ. Usually it only stops occasionally. It's been very good, the opens. My target is 40. My stop is 75 on a discretionary trade. And I don't often take a discretionary trade after the open. Sometimes we do, but more often than not, we don't. All right? I take it when I think I can really scalp intelligently. And my scalping's been lousy for a couple of weeks now. So I'm a little gun shy about my scalping. All right? When the YM has been showing a propensity for just going short, right? Thank you, Roz. For just going down. I'm not taking long signals. All right? At least not until the open at the earliest. I'm not jumping in long right now. It's a bad opportunity. All right? It's not a good opportunity. So we have our reverse continue on the MNQ. But for after the open on the YM magnet, so I'm just setting the bars to 1 right now. 1 trending bar. And I'm just watching signals on the YM. MNQ, we set up our reverse continue. That setup was, one more time, 2 contracts, 40 target, 75 stop. All right, 75 stop. And that's a reverse continued discretionary trade. All right, and I'm trading that in the market open account, and we traded UNH in that this morning. I'm going to help my MNQ market open account anytime I want. There's no law that says I'm only allowed to trade market opens. One of the reasons I wanted to stick mostly, if not all, market opens, just so we have a benchmark account for market opens. But I also want to get paid on this account, right? And the account's been struggling. So I want to trade some of the best to bring it back to life so it doesn't get terminated. I'm just under 49,000 in that account. And my termination, I'll be back, is wait a minute. This has to be wrong. It has to be wrong. It's saying 47,684. That seems way too low. Let me check. I think I wrote the wrong number down. So in order to know where your termination is, you have to bring up your R trader, right? You need your R trader. You can log into R trader and not have to disconnect if you turn off the market data before you log in, all right?
Canada's PM Carney says, I told Trump I meant what I said in Davos. Canada is responding to change in US trade policy. I did not walk
My
away from
threshold,
comment.
my auto liquidate in my 54 account, is 47,674. I guess that's correct. I think it is correct because what it's saying is we never had much profit in this account ever. Because in the oil funded account where we had 2 months of good oil trades, we didn't get to take money out, but we came much closer. So our liquidation is much higher. It's 49,389. So I've got a little bit of room now in my MNQ open, but not a ton because it hasn't traded well. I have not traded it well. Okay. Does everybody understand what I'm talking about? Does everybody understand? When you start with a prop account, you start at 50,000 if it's a 50,000 account and you have a $2,500 drawdown in this particular account. So when the account reaches 47,500, that's when the account liquidates. As you make money in the account, though, they bring that liquidation up as you make money. It gets higher. And it never goes back down to where it originally was. So if you do very well and you get funded, and then you do well in your funded account and then start to struggle, that lower number, the drawdown, rises as you're doing well. So you just want to keep track of that liquidation so you know what your number is to get in trouble. It's just that simple. If you don't understand, you don't have to understand it tick for tick, dollar for dollar, but you just want to make sure you understand where you're going to get liquidated so you don't do foolish things. Does everybody get it? Understand what I'm saying? Okay. I know most of you know, but if you're brand new to a prop account, you might not know. And then there's these other prop accounts. I don't even want to talk about it. All right, let me set up my breakout for the MNQ. So we also have a breakout trade. We have a reverse continue. All right. We have a reverse continue and we have a breakout. So we'll get our template for the breakout. We'll load it. And then after the open, we'll go to consumer confidence. MNQ new open, right click to rename it. Today's the 27th, right? Right? Okay. I'm going to load that template. It saves to the new one. We have a bracket of 40, which is what we have most mornings. 30 target, 100 target. Stop is 125. I go to break even generally if my first target's hit. But where you put your stop is very manageable. You know, you might leave it alone and not move it at all if the first target is hit. Some people like to do that. And I'm going to trade that MNQ open in my MNQ open funded account. Of course, I would hate to give money back, but that's the account I'm trading it in. Overall, the MNQ open funded, it's getting by. The problem is the losers are bigger than the winners. That's the problem. Especially the past week or two, we haven't really had too many good trails. You know, we haven't had really good follow through. And it's been for more than a week, it feels like anyway. So we're triggering at 929.59, a bracket of 40, targets of 30 and 100, stop of 125, and we're going to BE if target 1 is hit, trading it in the funded account, but I'm going to test it in Sim, test the bracket. So we'll put it in Sim for a minute. We'll put the time on 0. Put our charts on Sim. We're looking at our MNQ bracket.
Order submitted.
See how that's too wide? So I'll shrink it
Order
down.
canceled.
And I want to get rid of our vertical line on entry. So on our breakout, I'll go to optional, vertical line on entry. I'm going to uncheck it like I do every morning. Then when I test that bracket again, the line won't be there.
Order submitted. Order canceled.
And yes, we could have just chased that YM this morning, right? It's just been making new low after new low after new low after new low. Our MNQ open. Going to put the time back to 9:29. Bracket of 40, targets of 30 and 100, stop of 125. All right. Market open. Account. Apply it. Now, what's interesting, the Dow is down pretty sizable. Tech is up pretty sizable. So I do want to thank everybody who's watching us on YouTube. If you hit the like button, we'd really appreciate it. Hit the notification bell so you know the next time we will be streaming here. Now we have been noticing this 925 event. I'm just trying something, folks. We have 5 minutes. I'm testing different settings on our filters. Just because the programmer and I have to get together for a nice explanation. Now that's interesting. No, it's not. So we still have a few minutes.
Seeing natural gas futures extending losses, prices down by
Natural
10%,
gas
as
selling
output
off a
slowly
little bit
returns and
today.
demand declines in
No
central
surprise
European
there, right?
population. Now the worst of Arctic storm has moved into the northeastern region.
No surprise there. Okay, we've pulled off the high and pulled off the low. So on the magnet, on the YM, I'm ignoring signals, but you can put the high of low back on, high of day, low of day. I certainly don't expect a fill up at the high at the moment. It's too far away. Maybe a VWAP trade makes more sense, but the low makes a lot more sense. I think what we're going to see is a test of the low, right? And a new low at the open. Are you willing to trade it? I'll take a shot. I'll take a shot. It might fill before the open. It might not fill. It's possible. You can wait until you get to the open. You could trade the PP if you want instead, right? I think we're going to make a new low. That's my feeling. We might not, and if we don't, I'm going to lose.
Order submitted.
I think the stop should be above the structure, right? I want the stop above the structure.
One minute kan to get the market on open imbalance data.
I think this morning I would almost rather have waited till the open, but we'll see. MNQ, we still have 35 seconds before the breakout. I think there's going to be downward movement. That's what I think. I'm not sure, but we'll see. Okay, the market's getting ready to open.
Order submitted.
Market on open imbalance S&P 500.
Oh, it almost got
Order
our,
submitted.
it almost got our low.
Sell side 72 million, Bank 7 buy side 18.5 million.
The NQ, so the
Order
YM
filled.
went the other way, unfortunately. The
Order
NQ
filled.
hit our first target, expanding the target. Looking for a trail. Looking for a trail. Not going to trail yet. We're past our first target. So I'll go to our first target. Try to survive that. See if it'll pull down.
Order filled.
All right, so we made some money in our funded account. The prop account, we gave back a little bit of the earnings profit this morning. So now we're just watching signals. So finally, you did get a long signal that worked, but it was before the open. I would not have taken that signal. And I just think our stops, the problem on the open is the stops need to be bigger. The stops need to be bigger. Because look, it tested the low. The trade would have worked. I do think that the YM
Order submitted.
is heading down. I'd like to see if we could get a little scalp out of this. We have a very big reverse signal there. That was a big reverse.
Order filled.
Now I closed that like a lunatic because I wanted over $200 in profit. All right. So we made all of our money back on the YM, but this is not easy. These are not easy markets, folks. Look at the NQ. The MNQ, it looks like it may want to test the high. Are you wanting to scalp for the new high? I mean, it's up 150 something points. It's not a terrible scalp, but I'm up $200 in that funded account. I'm not dying to give it back this morning. All right. So I'm probably going to just watch. We made our money on the downside. It hit the first target and almost trailed. We made a little more than first target. So I'm not dying to jump in long. And the YM's down 400. And at least we got our money back on our first magnet, which really, folks, when you look at the market, when you take a magnet, you got to bite the bullet and put your stops above major structure and major pivots. The stop should have been above the PP, minimally, if not the VWAP. But that might have been a 70, 80 tick stop. But on the open, or right at the pre-open, that's reasonable. It's reasonable, okay? It's not dumb.
The Swiss franc rises 1% against the US dollar to a session high.
The other thing you could do is just wait for the open to take that trade, right? Don't take the trade until the open. We've had pretty good luck taking them before the open, but you get that better volatility after the open. All right, we have another whole other trade to deal with. So we're starting everything over now. Putting gold on. 0426. GC 0426. All right? GC 0426. Nobody's typing how they did. How did anybody trade that this morning? Anybody have some good trades, bad trades? How'd your trades go? Okay, welcome everyone to the Pro Trade Room Plus Consumer Confidence. My name is Lee Goldstein, the Trading Director for 10-Minute Trades. Please remember, all the trades we discuss are for educational purposes. All right, so CB Consumer Confidence. Don't forget, gold is 04. I sent an email to everyone. Gold is 04, not 02. We have a trap trade. The trap trade is risky, risky, risky. Okay? Risky, risky, risky. Consumer confidence, folks, is one of those. These major reports are all fraught with difficulty. A lot of the major reports are not behaving consistently. So let me give you the deal with consumer confidence. We have an MNQ setup that's not on the DMM. It's just not, all right? But I have a setup for MNQ, and it's mediocre, all right? All the setups are inconsistent on consumer confidence and rather mediocre. That's the reality. In December, the trap had a very small reversal. In November, the MNQ or the NQ needed a 90 tick stop. In October, the trap worked for gold. In September, the trap worked. And in August, it worked. The problem with the trap, you can see that the gold breakout has been not bad. All right? Not bad. But it's only getting most of the time one target because there's going to be slippage. And it's very difficult to put on a 12-tick bracket with gold for a breakout. It's difficult. I'm just telling you, it's difficult. All right? Let me show you why. If you set up the breakout, the regular gold breakout, all right, and we'll put our time in. It's 9:59, 59. We have a bracket of 12. All right. We have targets of 10 and 25. And I'm going to make a template so we don't have to do this twice. The stop is 20. And I would go to BE minus 4 if we hit our first target. We're going to call this breakout GC. And I'm going to save the template. I call it CB Consumer, okay? You can call it Consumer Confidence, GC, and today's date. All right? That's our template. If we set the time to 0, you can see why it's difficult to have a 12 bracket. Now, it is 20 minutes from now. The market's probably a little busier now. It may not be quite as busy at 10 because the market just opened. All right, I'm on Sim. I just want to show you how you can look at a bracket by setting the time to 0
Order submitted.
and put your bracket on for the breakout trade. Get rid of the vertical line. It's
Order
just in
canceled.
the way. Click strategy, highlight your strategy, go to optional, show vertical line, uncheck it, apply it, okay, all right? Now, we have 0 time.
Order submitted. Order canceled.
It's pretty tough to have a 12 bracket and not get filled.
Order submitted.
You can use the adjust button, all right? Like if you're waiting for the news, usually consumer confidence is pretty fast. Right now, we can manage that 12 bracket.
submitted.
Well, look what happened right there. When you thought you could manage that 12 bracket, you got to burst. You got to burst.
Order filled.
If I said University of Michigan, I meant consumer confidence. This is consumer confidence. But see how the bracket isn't really safe? At 12, it may not be safe. Putting it on again, just
Order
to show
submitted.
you what we're talking about.
Order submitted.
It got filled. I was just going to spread my chart for management. Let's
Order
do it
filled.
again. Let's do it again. I don't care what the trade is, if it's positive or negative. That's not
Order
the
filled.
point. The point is, can we prevent a fill before the news comes out with a 12 bracket? I don't think so.
Order canceled.
I don't think it's a good bracket.
Order submitted.
But when you look at the moves on the
Order
report,
submitted.
when you look at the moves
Order
on the
fill-
report,
Order filled.
they're not gigantic. So you can't have a 20-tick bracket.
Order submitted.
You don't want a 20-tick bracket. You can use the adjust button to help you. It recenters. All right, that helps.
Order submitted.
But
Order
even with
filled.
it, I still
Order
got
filled.
filled as gold is just bursting up right now. All right. Gold. Let's put our reverse continue on the chart, right? We want to reverse continue. One position, a 40-tick target, 35-tick stop. And I'll work on that account that we've damaged this morning. That's where I'll trade this report. I will not trade this report on a good account because it's inconsistent and not a fantastic opportunity. There's too much risk. Normally, I like the trap. See, I like the trap trade. I'm going to trade the trap also in a different account. This is not University of Michigan. This is separate consumer confidence, Arthur. Totally different animal. Totally different animal. Different trade. This is regular consumer confidence. The other thing about this report, why is this report so inconsistent? Because it hasn't traded alone a lot lately.
Order canceled.
It's traded with other news. All right. I do almost prefer a magnet on this trade. I'm putting the magnet on because I can. High of day, low of day, just one contract. 35 stop. Default target. All right. Default target. Label it. GC magnet, right now in that same account. So I'm either taking a magnet or a breakout. You can't do both. Okay? Can't do both simultaneously. If gold gets above 51.30, I'm interested, possibly. All right? If I just want to watch signals, I can do that too. Right now, I'm just leaving it the way it is. The breakout needs to be spread pretty far apart if you're going to do it. It's had 4 recent winners. Notice 2 in a row is the longest 2 in a row. Now, the trap. I'm not willing to destroy a great account for an inconsistent report with a risky trap. I'm willing to see if do I have a prop account I could trade this in that I won't kill. So I do. My number 32 was reset, okay? My 32 was reset. I'd rather, to be honest, folks, I'd rather trade the breakout and or the magnet in 32, all right? And I'd rather try and help 36 with a winning trap trade, okay? So I'm going to trade our breakout, and I'm going to decide, I'm going to trade the breakout in number 36, which is the account I've been trading all morning that's down, okay? 36. And the reverse continue, I'll put on that same account, and then the magnet I'll put on the same account. The magnet I'll use signals, okay? So everything's in 36. Let me make sure that's the account I want to trade in. Yeah, that's the account that needs work. Okay, we damaged it this morning. And we damaged it by trading trades that shouldn't have been traded. I made that very clear. Okay? I didn't take any best of the best trades in this account. This is a newish prop account that we don't mind damaging. It's testing. You
Eurodollar
gotta
is
test.
considered the most bullish
We
since
do.
March
You don't.
2020.
You don't have to take all the trades that I take, and you shouldn't. Okay? It's very important to understand that. If you come in the morning and you get up when we tell you to get up for United Health, make the money on the ones that really are a great opportunity, and you're done for the day. Francis is done for the day. He made almost 300 bucks. One day. How much do you need? Why throw that away at an inconsistent report? If consumer confidence was working great, I would say trade it, but I know it's not. I know the DMM looks better than the report is trading. And if you read the DMM really closely, small spike, okay, average spike, quick reversal, 2 minutes, canceled trade, small choppy spike, small spike, mysterious stop, should have been profitable. This is a report that's been somewhat inconsistent. It is what it is. It's also, for consumer confidence, it hasn't been moving all that much. It's kind of crazy. It hasn't been a big mover. But I'm a lunatic and I love trap trades. So I'm going to take a shot in a prop account that was just recently reset, and I'm going to trade the trap setup, which is our preferred setup for consumer confidence. Here's how I'm trading it. Trap trade, trigger 959.55. Stop is 25. Tier 1 is 25. Tier 2 is 45. Stop is 25. Our zone of safety is 70 ticks. Label it GC trap.
RTX shares up 2.2% after higher Q4 revenue and profit.
Trap GC might be better because we have so many other setups. Trap GC. And I said I would trade that in a reset prop account. The risk of a trap with gold as volatile as it is just too big of a move and it just blows through the trap. I am putting a reverse continue on the same chart. That's the risk in these markets. Gold, reverse continue, 30
Top of
ticks,
the hour, we get the US CV consumer confidence.
30 tick
Forecast
stop,
is 91 prior 89.1.
same
With a
account.
range of 94 to 88. So this will be the data for January. At the same time, we get the US Richmond Fed Composite Index forecast -5 prior
Now,
to
Richmond, the Fed report is also coming out. 95% of the time, that report comes out early and it has no bearing on the market. Okay.
Shares of US health insurers fall after US proposed a slight rise in Medicare insurer payments.
So here's Richmond. All right, you'll see the numbers almost always. Richmond comes out early, almost always. All right, so we could take the high of day, low of day on the magnet. I kind of like it. We're pretty far away. Gold is $2, $32 away from our entry on top. It's not going to move 300 ticks on this report initially. I think the magnet is very interesting. The VWAP is even better. You know, if you trade a custom VWAP, if you do it at the time of the news, you're looking for a bad fill. Okay. Oswald, I don't know what language you're speaking, unfortunately. It's not a language I understand. So if you type that in English, it would be very helpful. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry. So put it in English and I can respond, if you don't mind. I appreciate the comments, but I don't know the vernacular you're using. So I just want to repeat what he wrote so you know. Trading an FTMO challenge 200K to 210K started with one loss, next three wins, but far from the TP still. So truly, I don't know what you're talking about. But I'm sure if you put it in English, it'll make sense. I am interested. The big crazy thing about trading, everyone, why is trading so crazy? You could put 10 crazy people in a room, 10 normal people in a room, and you'll get 10 completely different setups for the same exact moment. Trading's crazy. It's absolutely insane. And that's one reason why it's so insane. Everyone thinks they know how to look at it. And there is more than one way to look at it. And that's why it's so crazy. right? I think everyone would agree to that. Maybe an FTMO, whatever that means, challenge would work. No, I think he's talking about a trade setup. Notice that there was
Shares up
a
2%
really
on
good
Q4 results
short
as the
signal.
company announces layoffs.
Now, would you have gotten stopped on the first short signal? You would have not taken it until this candle here. You might not have taken it at all because that was not a great candle. So let's say you waited for the next candle and you didn't get the top of the candle because that's not fair. But it was a 50 tick move. So if you took a profit, if you had a target smaller than 50, you hit your first target and then you got stopped out at the R1, which is where your stop should have been above. If you take a short above the VWAP and the R1 is sitting above you, your stop should go above the R1, in my opinion. Then there was a second signal, and it was an awesome signal. So TJ, if you're still here, you see how the signals can work really well in the opposite direction? Even though gold was moving up, those were both very good signals. And they weren't surrounded with new high after new high after new high. You tested the VWAP, pulled back after the VWAP. You had a pullback before, it had tested the VWAP previously. There was an opportunity there that made that not too bad a trade. And the stop, still not a small stop though. Stops are not small because gold is so volatile. It's so volatile. So the stop,
Just 5 minutes ago until we get the
51.10, it's an $800 stop.
-1. Richmond Fed Composite Index forecast -5, prior -7.
I'm most interested in, well, I'm interested in both. I'm interested in the breakout, all right? I am interested in the breakout. Let me make sure my breakout is set properly because it didn't trigger. The breakout is 959.59. That should have triggered. Oh, no, it wouldn't have triggered. That's right. It's not on zero. We can check our bracket. I think the bracket's too small.
Order canceled.
For the breakout, you've got to spread the charts, all right, if you want to manage it. I think the breakout is the worst setup because of the volatility. And the bracket is too small. That's what I think, all right? I think it's probably smarter. Wait, look for levels. But I'm testing because we have a DMM. So I'm not saying anybody else should take that breakout. I don't really think you should. I'm testing it. I've got prop accounts to test in. It's okay, whatever happens to it, okay? You know I make clear what the good ones are and why I think you should trade the good ones. There are some good ones. There are some good ones that have a lot of risk. And there's no way to show confirmation. It's a discretionary setup. The signal is the confirmation. And then you have to use your analysis to decide if you want to take it. There's no, you know as well as I know, there's no 100% correct. Everybody says there is online. You know, QuantView says there is. But the truth is, every signal doesn't work. Yes, we're always looking for as many good ones as possible. Always. That's the most important thing. If you're going to take reversals, the other thing you have to accept is getting stopped and getting right back in for
That went,
another
yeah,
trade.
with the CV consumer
If
confidence.
you're the kind of person that can't get stopped and go back in, or hate it so much that it ruins your day, then you cannot trade reversals. Reversals, sometimes you just don't get the first one. Sometimes you'll take three. What if you had three small stops, but you caught this VWAP failure? It's a pretty big trade. 86, over 200 ticks. So maybe you had 100 ticks lost before it. Or I don't mean 100, maybe you had 40 ticks lost
10
before it, or
seconds.
50. Okay, here we go.
Order submitted.
Let's see if this breakout is going to
Order
work.
order
Now the
submitted.
trap trade,
Order filled.
now the
84.75,
breakout, total
84.75 low
whipsaw,
with a forecast of 90.
total whipsaw.
Trading on the
And that
reversal
was the
confidence
worry.
index now.
And it's so frustrating. Now the trap, it only
Order
filled
filled.
target one. I'm slightly expanding the stop to see if gold will push down. One of the problems is the news
Order
is
filled.
it hit our first target, getting my stop, expanding the target,
Very
trailing.
deficit index.
So we have a monster trap trade.
With a forecast -5.
Monster trap trade.
Order canceled.
All right, that was like an $800 trap trade. As I said, the breakout was unsafe. The breakout was unsafe. And I said that nobody should take it. So I hope someone wasn't trying to be smart and take the breakout. Okay? The trap was awesome. The trap was awesome. But it's scary to take the trap because you're just concerned that there might be too much movement and the stop could get broken. I'm willing to increase my stop in most trap trades at least by 10 ticks, at least. Now, there's probably no saving this account today, but we don't need the breakout. The breakout didn't work. The magnet will give us signals, and you still have a high of day, low of day magnet. Do you want the VWAP? I'm not sure I want the VWAP. Why not? Because we're down $27. Do I want a long? The only reason I might want a long is the news is very negative. Very bad consumer confidence. Is that a surprise when you got people like we have doing what they're doing to us?
We have put out the US
Of course
consumer
not.
confidence
Of
January
course
2026
confidence
total
is
that we're
lousy.
to read through.
People being shot in the street. What do you expect? Confidence to be high? I wouldn't. But again, that's not the issue. The issue is it a number? What's that number going to do to gold? Because that's what we're trading. That negative number should push gold up, but gold has a big negative trend so far today that you may not get to the high. You may not even get to the VWAP now. If you want to test the VWAP, you can take your high of day magnet order and bring it down. That'll work to the high, to the VWAP now. But your target will be up here. Just remember that. Now, in this particular account, I don't know if I can even trade anymore in this
US
account.
two-year yield falls
It's
after
so
weak
damaged.
consumer confidence gauge.
But as damaged as that account is, we made 840 on the trap, we made money on all our earnings, and we made money on the opens. So we're not crying in the corner because our testing lost money. And that's really what happened this morning. So, right? Most people in the room who know what to do with us and aren't just taking random trades, right? Just because there's a report, those members are making money. You got to know what to trade. And that's why the trade room is the most important part of the puzzle, I think. Forget whether I'm a good scalper or not. That's not the issue. The issue is, what report are you trading? I know what reports to trade. I know what reports are inconsistent. I'm not trading them in important accounts. It's just that simple. Consumers are confident they're broke. I just saw that. Yeah. That's the truth. People are broke. They could say whatever they want. They could lie about any number they want. They could say the GDP is 8%. They could do whatever they want. People know they don't have money. And we don't have money because the cost of healthcare is through the roof, utilities and gas, keeping your house warm, food. We know the reality. We know the truth. They can lie as much as they want. It's not going to matter. Most people know the truth about inflation.
Order submitted.
So there's our VWAP, right? So you need to stop at least below the candle. Let's see if it tests the VWAP. Will gold test the
Order
VWAP?
failed.
Oh, it wouldn't let me trade, folks, because it will test the VWAP, but I blew that account for today. That account's ruined. So it is what it is. That account's ruined. Too many bad trades this morning on trades that we're testing. I'll say it over and over. The trades that counted, we made money. All right? Those trades we made money. And I'll show you. Funded account up to 34. Cash account, trading micros, up 50 on earnings. And then 410 on another funded account that is starting to become a decent funded account. All right. So now I'll start to treat that account that's growing a little bit more seriously. Okay. And I'll be more careful with the trades I take in that account soon. Maybe another couple of trades. It's doing better. It's almost a third of the way to funded. It's not terrible. I don't know. I didn't test in funded. I don't test in funded. All right, folks. So that's what we got for today. It's online, Arthur. It's on YouTube. All right, Oswald, thank you for the update. No problem. Obviously, we just trade news and around the news. That's what we do. News and around the news. So, folks, I can't take... Just watching. So, consumer confidence, definitely not a breakout trade at all. All right? Definitely not a breakout trade at all. But it's a trap trade. If you can survive the move in gold consumer confidence is definitely still a trap trade. All right, it really is. It's working,
According to traders, Russia's seaborne crude oil exports from Western ports
but it's
have led
not
to
easy.
decline in February.
So what do you think? Are they going to pick up the garbage today, you all? What do you think? Should I put the garbage out? Anybody? So let's look at the schedule. I want to thank everyone on
A bit more
YouTube.
context
Let
here
me
with US consumer confidence. The
say
decline in
goodbye
February
on
was
YouTube
the
to
lowest
everyone who's
February in over a
watching.
decade,
Thanks everyone on
according to
YouTube. We're
the
closing our
Federal Labor
stream
Management.
now. Hit the notification bell so you know the next time we'll be here. All right. And thank you for joining with us on YouTube. So have a good day, YouTubers. Thanks for joining.